Picture this. You walk into a room and you start unloading everything that's wrong in your life. Bills piling up, stress at work, relationship falling apart. Your health is not where you want it to be. You lay it all out, and the people around you, they nod politely. They say, "Oh, wow, that's tough." Maybe they throw in a half-hearted, "I'm sorry to hear that." But the moment you walk away, they forget every word you just said. Here's the truth. Nobody wants to say out loud, people don't care about your problems as much as you think they do. Not because they're cruel, but because they have their own battles to fight. Everyone's carrying weight. Everyone's drowning in their own storm. And if all you bring to the table is another storm, people will quietly walk away. Now listen closely. This isn't about shutting down or pretending your pain doesn't exist. This is about power, about control. Every time you hand your problems to someone else, you're giving them control over your energy. You're giving away the most valuable thing you have, your focus. So ask yourself, when was the last time telling someone about your problems actually fixed them? When did venting move you forward? When did complaining get you closer to the life you want? I'll tell you what does move you forward. Discipline, silence, action. The people who rise above aren't the ones who shout about their suffering. They're the ones who channel it, who bleed in silence, grind in private, and then step into the light with results. So undeniable, the world has no choice but to pay attention. And tonight, I'm going to show you why you need to stop announcing your problems and start building your power. Because the less you tell, the more you grow. And the more you grow, the louder your results will speak. You know what the biggest lie we tell ourselves is? That people care about our problems. That if we just explain, if we just pour our hearts out, someone will understand, and magically things will get better. Wrong? Most people don't care as much as you think, and that's the hard truth. Let me give it to you straight. When you start complaining, when you start unloading your problems, most people aren't thinking, "How can I help?" They're thinking, "Thank God it's not me." Or worse, "This person is weak." And whether they admit it or not, they put you in a box. The complainer, the victim, the one who always has issues. And let me tell you, once you're in that box, it is hard to climb out. Think about it. How many times have you walked away from a conversation where someone dumped all their problems on you and you felt drained, not inspired? How many times have you nodded your head, pretended to listen, but deep down thought, "I've got my own stuff to deal with"? Exactly. Everyone has storms. Everyone has demons. You are not special because life is hard. But here's where it gets dangerous. The moment you keep telling your problems, you condition people to see you as nothing but your struggle. You train them to lower their expectations of you, to look at you with pity instead of respect. And pity is poison. You don't want pity, you want respect. You want admiration. You want to walk into a room and have people see strength, not weakness. So when you feel that urge to unload, to tell everyone what you're going through, stop, catch yourself. Because every time you broadcast your problems, you're giving away your power. You're teaching the world how to treat you. And if you teach them that you are fragile, they will handle you like glass delicately, carefully, but never with the respect reserved for steel. Now, does this mean you should never talk to anyone? Ever? No. It means be intentional. Be selective. Don't bleed in front of people who have no business holding your wounds. Most people are not healers. They are spectators. And the more you perform your problems, the more you entertain them, not empower yourself. So remember this. The world respects results, not excuses. Respects strength, not stories of struggle. If you want people to pay attention, don't tell them about the mountain you're climbing. Show them the view from the top. Let's get real. Complaining doesn't solve a damn thing. Think about it. You can complain all day about being broke. It won't put a single dollar in your pocket. You can cry about being out of shape. It won't burn a single calorie. You can talk for hours about how unfair life is, and guess what? Life doesn't care. Life doesn't hand out prizes for the best sob story. Complaining is like sitting in a rocking chair. It gives you something to do, but it doesn't take you anywhere. You feel busy, you feel engaged, but at the end of the day, you're still stuck in the same spot. Worse, you've wasted energy that could have been used to actually fix the problem. Here's what complaining really does. It weakens you. It rewires your brain to believe that talking about the problem is the same thing as doing something about it. And that's dangerous because you walk away feeling like you handled it, but nothing changed. You trick yourself into believing that venting equals progress. No, it equals wasted time. And let's be brutally honest. Most of the time when we complain, we're not looking for solutions. We're looking for validation. We want someone to say, "You're right, you don't deserve this. Poor you." We crave sympathy instead of accountability. And sympathy feels good in the moment, but it doesn't move you an inch closer to the life you want. Do you know who never wastes time complaining? Winners, high performers, warriors, because they understand that the world doesn't pay attention to their struggles. It pays attention to their results. When something goes wrong, they don't grab a microphone and announce it to the crowd. They get quiet, they get to work, they turn that frustration into fuel. Imagine this. You've got two people in front of you. Person A is talking about how hard their life is. Person B is silent, but behind the scenes, they're grinding, they're learning, they're pushing. A year later, person A is still talking. Person B is unrecognizable, stronger, sharper, more successful. Who do you respect? Who do you follow? That's the difference. Complaining tells the world you're stuck. Action tells the world you're coming. Complaining says, "Feel sorry for me." Action says, "Watch me." So the next time you feel that urge to complain, stop and ask yourself one simple question. Do I want comfort or do I want change? Because you can't have both. Pain is not your enemy. Pain is your power. If you use it right, too many people waste their pain by turning it into complaints. They waste it by begging for sympathy, by looking for someone to say, "It's gonna be okay." But listen carefully, pain is not meant to be coddled. Pain is meant to be transformed. Think about pressure. When pressure hits coal, it doesn't cry. It doesn't beg for relief. It transforms that pressure. That suffocating force turns coal into a diamond. And you are no different. Every problem, every heartbreak, every failure pressing down on you is not there to break you. It's there to make you. The question is, do you let it crush you? Or do you let it transform you? Here's what most people don't realize. Your greatest strength is often hidden inside your deepest struggle. That pain you're carrying right now. The one that keeps you up at night, the one that makes you feel like nobody understands, that is your raw material. That is your iron. But if you waste it telling the world how heavy it is, you never forge it into steel. Look at history. The strongest leaders, the most unstoppable athletes, the most resilient warriors, what do they all have in common? They suffered. They were broken down. They faced trials that would have destroyed most people. But instead of complaining, they got sharper. Instead of asking, "Why me?" they asked, "What now?" They turned their wounds into weapons. And that's what you have to do. Stop announcing your scars like they're decorations. Start using them as armor. Every time you feel pain, you have two choices. Let it define you or let it refine you. One makes you a victim. The other makes you unstoppable. I'll tell you something most people never want to hear. Nobody cares about your pain until you win. Nobody is going to clap for your suffering. They clap when you overcome it. They respect when you rise, not when you fall. So don't waste your breath trying to make people understand your problems. Make them understand your power by what you do with those problems. So the next time life hits you hard, don't run to a friend. Don't run to social media. Don't run to anyone who can't fix it. Sit with it, work through it, build with it, because pain is not your punishment. It's your training. And the moment you realize that, the moment you decide to use pain as fuel, you stop being fragile and start being dangerous. Not everyone deserves a front row seat to your life. And let me tell you, definitely not everyone deserves to hear about your problems. Some people you share with because you think they care, but the truth, they're collecting information. And when the time is right, they'll use that information against you. You've seen it before. You open up to a friend about how you're struggling, and a month later, they throw it in your face during an argument. Or worse, they whisper about it to someone else. Your pain becomes their gossip. And just like that, what was heavy on your shoulders is now entertainment for somebody else's boredom. Here's the hard truth. The world is full of spectators. Some people secretly enjoy seeing you struggle. because it makes them feel better about themselves. They don't want to see you rise. They want to see you stuck. So when you tell everyone your problems, you're handing your enemies the exact weapons they'll use to take you down. But it's not just about enemies. Even good people, even people who genuinely care about you, they can't always handle your problems. Maybe they don't have the tools. Maybe they're drowning in their own storms. Maybe they'll nod and listen, but deep down they're overwhelmed, and that can damage relationships. So what do? You become selective. You don't broadcast your wounds to the world. You guard your energy like it's gold, because it is. You choose carefully who gets access to your pain. Maybe it's a mentor. Maybe it's a coach. Maybe it's a professional who can actually give you tools, not just pity. You don't pour your heart out to people who can't lift you up. You find the few who can help you rise. Think of it like this. When soldiers are in battle, they don't stop mid-fight and announce to everyone, I'm scared, I'm tired, I'm in pain. No, they stay disciplined. They communicate with their unit, the ones who actually have their back, the ones who can help them survive. That's the mindset you need. Share only with people who are in the fight with you, not the crowd watching from the sidelines. So the next time you feel tempted to tell someone about your problems, stop and ask, does this person deserve my pain? Have they earned the right to know my struggle? Can they actually help me? If the answer is no, then keep it to yourself. Protect your energy, because the less you give people to use against you, the stronger you stay. Action is louder than words, louder than your complaints, louder than your excuses, louder than your problems. You don't need to tell people what you're going through. You need to show them what you're capable of. Nobody remembers the person who talked about how hard it was. They remember the person who overcame it. They remember the one who showed up despite the pain. That's the difference between being ordinary and being unstoppable. Ordinary people announce their struggles. Unstoppable people announce their victories. Think about the athletes you admire. You don't watch them for their excuses. You watch them because they show up on game day, perform under pressure, and deliver results. Do you think champions get on stage and say, I almost quit, I almost gave up, life was hard? Maybe they'll share that later after they've won as inspiration. But in the middle of the grind, silence, work, execution. When you take action, you don't need to defend yourself. You don't need to explain yourself. Results speak for you. Results shut down the doubters. Results silence the critics. And results earn you a respect that no complaint ever will. Let me ask you this. If you had the choice between two reputations, which would you pick? Reputation A, that's the person who always talks about how hard life is. Reputation B, that's the person who never says a word, but always finds a way to win. Exactly. We all know which one we'd respect. So why not live that way? Why not train yourself to turn every problem into progress, every setback into a comeback? Action is what separates the talkers from the doers. And the doers, they run the world. They don't ask for pity. They don't beg for understanding. They let their success do the talking. And when you master that, when your work becomes your voice, people have no choice but to listen. So remember this. Don't tell me about your problems. Don't tell anyone. Show me your results. Show me your discipline. Show me how you overcame it. Because in the end, it's not your problems that define you. It's your ability to rise above them. Listen to me. Life will never stop throwing problems at you. That's the deal. You don't get to choose whether storms come. You only get to choose how you respond. You can spend your life telling people how unfair it is, waiting for sympathy that won't save you. Or you can decide right here, right now, that you're done wasting your breath and ready to start taking action. Your problems are not your prison. They are your training ground. Every struggle is an opportunity to get sharper, stronger, more disciplined, but only if you stop talking about it and start doing something about it. So from this day forward, let your silence be your strategy and your results be your voice. Don't beg people to understand your pain. Make them respect your power. Don't tell the world what you're going through. Show the world what you're made of. Because in the end, nobody remembers the complaints. Nobody remembers the excuses. What they will remember, what they will never forget, is the way you rose above it all. So stop telling people about your problems. Show them your strength. Show them your resilience. Show them your results. because that's the only story worth telling.